chemical. These have spanned the length of my Senate career. And I've been humbled each and every opportunity to help Kentucky punch above its weight. Of course, the Senate has to grapple with foundational questions that reach even more broadly across American life and either further into posterity. We're trusted on behalf of the American people to participate in the appointment of the federal judiciary, to be the final check on the assembly of power in the courts beyond the reach of representative politics, and to ensure that the men and women who preside over them profess authentic devotion to the rule of law above all else. When members of this body ignore, discount, or pervert this fundamental duty, they do so not just at the peril of the Senate, but of the whole nation. The weight of our power to advise and consent has never been lost on me, and I've been honored to perform my role in confirming judges who understand their role. On this floor, there is no place to hide from the obligations of Article 1, the Senate's unique relationship with Article 3, or our role in equipping the powers of Article 2. Here, every debate over agriculture or infrastructure or education or taxes is downstream of the obligations of national security. Every question of policy here at home is contingent on our duty to provide for the common defense. One of the first times I spoke at length on this floor as a freshman, I was compelled to join the debate over strengthening the deterrence of America's nuclear triad. Whether to expand the U.S. military's hard target nuclear capability was an interesting question to pose to someone whose most recent job had been running a county government. But there, of course, was the founder's brilliance at work. The hopes and dreams of every American are tied up in our ability to protect and defend the nation and its interests. Every family traveling abroad and every worker and small business owner whose livelihood depends on foreign trade, they depend in turn on the credibility of America's commitments to friends and the strength of her threats to enemies. In turn, the safety and success of the men and women who volunteer to serve this great nation in uniform depend on the work we do here to ensure that enemies think twice before challenging them, and those enemies never face a fair fight. Thanks to Ronald Reagan's determination, the work of strengthening America's hard power was well underway when I arrived in the Senate. But since then, we've allowed that power to atrophy. And today, a dangerous world threatens to outpace the work of rebuilding it. So lest any of our colleagues still doubt my intentions for the remainder of my term, I have some unfinished business to attend to. In our work, most of us in this body develop an appreciation for the Senate itself, its written rules, its collegial norms, its pace of play. And yet so often I've watched colleagues depart, venting their frustration at the confines of the institution or mourning what they perceive to be decline of its norms. Regardless of the political storms that may wash over this chamber during the time I have remaining, I assure our colleagues that I will depart with great hope for the endurance of the Senate as an institution. There are any number of reasons for pessimism, but the strength of the Senate is not one of them. This chamber is still the haven where the political minority can require debate. It's still the crucible in which jurists are tested for their fidelity to upholding the Constitution and laws as they were written. The Senate is still equipped for work of great consequence. And to the disappointment of my critics, I'm still here on the job. I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator, North Carolina.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the members and staff and spectators in the gallery be allowed to applaud for a period not to exceed 30 seconds.
Is there objection?
President.
Senator from Illinois.
Mr. President, in about 2 hours, the Senate will vote on whether to confirm Kash Patel to serve as Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations for the next.
Order.
To serve as Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations for the next 10 years. 10 years, Mr. President. If Senate Republicans confirm Mr. Patel, I believe they will come to regret this vote, probably sooner rather than later. I, for one, am convinced that Mr. Patel has neither the experience, the judgment, nor the temperament to lead this amazing criminal investigative agency. It appears my Senate Republican colleagues are ignoring the many red flags in Mr. Patel's record, probably because they fear retribution from the President and Mr. Musk. Let me be clear. This is not a partisan issue. During my time in the Senate, I have voted for 4 FBI director nominations before this one. Each one was clearly a Republican, and I voted for them nevertheless. Historically, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has been apolitical. I oppose Mr. Patel because he is dangerously politically extreme. He has repeatedly expressed his intention to use our nation's most important law enforcement agency to retaliate against his political enemies. Even before President Trump took office, Mr. Patel announced that he would force out FBI Director Chris Wray, who he nominated in his first term before firing the former FBI Director Jim Comey. The director is the only political appointment at the FBI. Congress took steps to ensure that this agency remains as apolitical as possible by providing for a single term of 10 years for a director and subjecting the appointment to the advice and consent of the Senate. 50 years ago, we made this reform. We may see it all fall to ashes today. But as we have seen for weeks now, the Trump administration purge of the FBI is a political exercise that has spread to service career officials. There's an association of FBI agents, and the 2 leaders of that association came to see me recently in my office to talk about this situation. Both of them are women. One is serving 17 years in the career job at the FBI, and the other 22. They were quick to add that their fathers had been FBI agents before them. It was clearly in their blood. They came to tell me about the situation at the FBI today because of this transition and because of the prospect of Kash Patel heading their agency. They said morale has never been lower. They've gone through many of them, gone through many presidential transitions, and have never seen anything like this. The declaration that is required now of FBI agents as to whether they were participating in the investigation of the January 6 rioters who assaulted this United States Capitol building. Let's be honest about what's going on here. There's an effort to have Soviet-style historical revision. The Trump administration and the people that they're pushing into leadership have to basically pass a loyalty oath in terms of the outcome of the previous presidential election and what happened on January 6th. They're somehow asked to ignore the obvious that we see on videotape over and over again. The rioters assaulted this Capitol. It was so dangerous that the Vice President of the United States, sitting in your chair, was physically removed by the Secret Service for fear that he was going to be hurt if he stayed in that position. Those of us who are on the floor of the Senate on January 6th were asked to evacuate this chamber as quickly as possible. This was not simply a question of tourists getting out of line. These people who assaulted this U.S. Capitol building were hell-bent on stopping the constitutional process of counting the electoral votes in the 2020 election. And now, FBI and others are being asked to say the opposite, that this wasn't somehow a breach of law, a horrendous, terrible chapter in the history of this country, and that there was danger afoot. Because the president has given a sweeping pardon to the 1,600 who were prosecuted for trespass, seditious conspiracy, the use of firearms in the Capitol and the like, we are supposed to somehow discount this as a significant moment in American history. It was. And for the FBI agents who participated in the investigation of that day, I say they were doing their job and they did it well. And now to remove them from the FBI because of that has obviously hurt the morale of the FBI agency and made them stop and wonder what the future holds for them if another president comes in with another political agenda. Will they be the victims again? As we've seen for weeks now, the Trump administration's purge of the FBI is a political exercise that has spread to senior career officials. In the FBI long history, this has never happened before. This purge has dramatically weakened the FBI's ability to combat national security threats and has made America less safe. Senior leaders with collectively hundreds of years of experience have been forced out, creating a leadership vacuum. Thousands of line agents fear losing their jobs simply because they were assigned to work on cases involving the January 6th attack or President Trump. I have heard directly from FBI agents who now fear for their safety and the safety of their families. To understand why, let me tell you about a January 6th rioter named Edward Kelly. Mr. Kelly was convicted of assaulting law enforcement during the attack on the U.S. Capitol. We saw it, didn't we? In terms of videotapes that show our law enforcement agents trying to stand their ground in this Capitol building, being beaten back and assaulted by these mobs. Mr. Kelly was convicted of assaulting law enforcement, and he was given a full and unconditional pardon by Donald Trump. But Mr. Kelly has also been convicted in his home state of Tennessee of conspiracy to murder the FBI agents who investigated his role in the January 6th attack. Understand this. Now he is arguing that President Trump's blanket pardon of Mr. Kelly should cover his attempt to kill FBI agents. When asked about the possible firings of career FBI officials at his confirmation hearing, Mr. Patel, under oath, and I quote, said, "I don't know what's going on right now at the FBI." Mr. President, that's not true. Thanks to multiple brave whistleblowers, we now know that Mr. Patel likely committed perjury.
They scared, y'all. They scared.
Even before being confirmed as an FBI director. Mr. Patel is already directing the ongoing purge of
His day's numbered.
career public
Yeah,
Patel
we
really
commend them whistleblowers and everybody. Bring them all out. Bring it all out in the open.
Republican colleagues, seriously, consider these
Don't get
credible
scared
whistleblower
now.
allegations
You've been
before
doing
you
all
vote
of this
on Mr.
illegal
Patel's
nonsense
nomination.
all this time.
Mr. Patel's claim about an FBI purge were not his
We
only
stand
misleading
solidarity,
statements under oath.
10 toes
At his
down with
hearing,
Kash
Mr.
Patel
implausibly
and
told me
President
he could
Trump.
not recall
So play if you
Stu
want to.
Peters, a man who's been identified as an anti-Semitic Holocaust denier. I asked him repeatedly, what about Stu Peters? Don't know the
We
man.
voted for who we
Don't
wanted,
recognize the name.
and President
This
Trump
is simply not
appointed
true.
who we wanted. So we
Considering
stand
that
solidarity
Mr.
in
Patel
10 toes down.
appeared on Mr. Peters' podcast 8 times, Mr. President, 8 times,
Don't
and he
get
couldn't
scared.
recall the man's name. And Mr. Peters has since revealed that he and Mr. Patel directly communicate via their personal cell phones, quote,
Hey, News.
constantly.
What's up,
Constantly was the word he used.
What's
They
up,
scared.
everybody?
They
Mr. Patel is
scared.
concerned
News.
under
News.
oath.
They scared.
Never
Don't
heard
get
of the man.
scared now.
Why in the
Uh,
world would he do that?
This
Why
guy
would
needs
Mr.
to
Patel
put up
admit the
no
obvious?
way.
8
He ain't nothing but
podcasts,
old
constant communication with this man.
douchebag.
And an even larger question, what is he doing as a man who wants to direct the FBI in
Hush.
concert with anti-Semitic Holocaust denier Stu Peters? What is going on here? Is he
But what
showing
is
good
with
judgment?
all
Yeah,
the
what is going on here?
anti-Semitism
What is
crap?
going on
Put in
here?
charge of
What you doing?
38,000 criminal investigators? Mr. Patel also claimed, quote, he didn't have
Y'all ain't
anything
gonna
to
use
do
that Homeland
with the recording
Security
of the
no more.
so-called
Like
January
that, y'all
6th
been
prison
doing,
quiet,
weaponizing the
which
system.
included at least 6 rioters who violently assaulted police officers. Mr. Patel thinks there's something interesting.
So what about
Maybe
Black
you can
Lives
use it
Matter? And
about the
I'm that
fact that
black
he
girl.
created a choir
What about Black
of
Lives
these
Matter? Y'all don't
individuals who have
think
been
that they did some
prosecuted for what
stuff
they did
too?
on January 6th. Here's
Stop
what
playing.
Mr. Patel said.
What about these
to Steve
cartels
Bannon
y'all
after he
allowed in this
denied
country?
knowing anything about this recording before
What about the woman
Judiciary
that y'all
Committee
murdered?
recently?
Thank you.
He said to Steve Bannon, quote,
Yes,
"We got
y'all
this
murdered
idea
her.
to
We
record
saw
the
it with our
January
own
6th
eyes.
prisoners who recite the national anthem
But y'all
every night
gave
from the
him
DC prison.
an award.
They don't
Then
want
we
to talk
took that
about
to the
this.
studio, so we mastered and digitized that.
What about
So on
them
Steve
federal
Bannon's show,
agents
here's
y'all
the
put in the
mastermind
middle
behind
of
this
these
recording
people?
of these prisoners saying something about the national anthem every night.
That was, and then we even saw the
particular tape that he
police
created of the
escorting them in,
January
tell them to
6th
come
choir
on, come on, come
was
on.
taken to Trump rallies too and played as
Dude,
some
you
kind of
thought we was
interesting
blind,
display
crippled, and
of
crazy?
what
Yeah,
Patel
he's just
insists
trying
are
to,
just
you
political
know,
prisoners.
describe
Mr.
the
Patel's
clown show
choir
that the rest
boys,
of us observed
Julian
And I'm telling
terms.
you,
Yeah.
them
Hater,
Republicans better vote right. You better not be
Hater,
playing. Or
he was
y'all getting
convicted
ready to
of
be
assaulting
impeached
Capitol
too.
police
Yeah.
officers
All right.
with pepper
No, I
spray.
can play.
One of those
Turtle head is
officers was
gone.
Capitol Police
So
Officer
even
Brian
if he
Sicknick.
lives to make it toward another
Brian
election,
Sicknick
he's
suffered
gone.
multiple
Done.
strokes and died the day after
I'm
the
talking
attack.
about you, McConnell.
Mr.
Shit.
Cater was one of the people who assaulted him.
And then that one
Mr.
in
Patel has
Ohio,
called these
he's
violent
already
January
said
6th
he's not
rioters, and I
voting for
quote,
Kash
political
Patel.
prisoners.
You out of here.
That includes
Yep,
Guy
they're
Reffitt.
scared, 'cause they all got
Guy Reffitt
they all got
was sentenced
skeletons
to
in the closet.
87 months in prison
Yeah, that's
for his role in the
How is
January
it that
6th assault.
Obama can get all of the
87
Democrats
months.
to do what he
Mr.
wants
Reffitt
them to do, but
brought a gun to the
President
Capitol
Trump
on
can't get
January
all the
6th
people to stand
and
10
recorded
toes down
himself
with
saying
him?
the following,
Y'all are
which
fake.
I'll
If
paraphrase
y'all
because I
fake,
don't
get out
wanna
of
use
here.
profanity on the floor of the Senate.
because they're swamping the Republican.
We're all
Party,
going to
too.
drag them
That's
They
it.
out
playing
kicking and
games. They
screaming.
playing both sides of the
I
fence.
just want to see
And we see you.
Pelosi's head hit every effing stair on the way out, and Mitch McConnell too. F them all.
And if
Mr. Reffitt's
you're sure
19-year-old
right, we
son,
want
Jackson, turned to be
Nancy
law enforcement
Pelosi up
after the
out of
attack,
there,
despite Reffitt's
and
threats
Mitch
to shoot
McConnell.
Jackson and his sister.
He done sit up
Here's
and
what
had about
Reffitt said
5
to his own
strokes
children,
while
quote,
y'all sitting up.
"If you
Yeah,
turn
Yeah,
on
what's
the
this guy
enemy
that's
talking about?
elderly
I think
abuse.
I
you
think
know
he's
what happens
reading
to
comments.
traitors get shot." Mr. Reffitt received a full and unconditional pardon from President Trump. Guess where he was on January 30th this year? Back at the Capitol complex at Mr. Patel's confirmation hearing. Here's what Mr. Reffitt.
Uh-oh. What happened?
That means you talking too much. That means you
Tax Act
lying.
has live experts on hand, so you don't have to sweat.
Man,
That
I
means
thought
you
you
lying.
fixed that, Jeff.
Commercial.
Your taxes. We're like the antiperspirant of tax companies. That sounded
Paper
a lot
news
cool.
behind the scenes.
I got it. It's just my connection a little
This
bad.
gentleman, he's become a hero too
Gonna get
for his
down.
appearance before the committee.
No, he was
Moral
lying. That's
commies
why it
for questioning
clicked
Kash
in.
Patel's politics and what it's led to. These are Mr. Patel's allies: Stu Peters, Julian Cater, Guy Reffitt. On the other hand, consider who is warning us about Mr. Patel. Former Trump officials who know him, like Attorney General Bill Barr, CIA Director Haspel, Defense Secretary Mark Esper, and
Bill
National
Barr
Security
is no
Advisor John
longer
Bolton.
in here. Can y'all let Bill Barr remain where he's at?
It's not just
Work
Bill
with
Barr,
Patel.
though. Just about
Knowing
everybody
well,
that he listed
want us
off
not to
are
do this.
people
Don't
that
give this
we want
responsibility
gone.
to this man. All Republican appointees.
And
Mr.
so,
Patel has
you
led
know, I don't
left a
know who
long
this
trail
guy
of
is talking
grievances,
to at this
lashing
point.
out at
You know,
anyone who is
because
not
I'm already
completely aligned with
convinced,
him.
so I don't
He
need
calls
any more
Democrats,
convincing.
quote,
You know what I'm saying?
vindictive, evil,
Exactly.
and vicious,
He talking to himself.
and repeatedly attacks Republican senators who don't toe the MAGA line. I read
He's
Mr.
doing the
Patel's
bidding
book,
for
Government Gangsters.
Jasmine Crockett
It includes an
and
enemies list at the end of
Maxine
the book.
Waters.
60 names, members of the deep state in the word of Kash Patel, which includes distinguished public servants from both political parties. What do they all have in
Mitch
common?
McConnell, on your
60
way up
people on
out of
this
here, you
hit
better
list.
vote right. That's all I got
Attorney
to say.
General Bill Barr and Merrick Garland,
Oh,
the
he's a
former
no.
FBI directors Bob Mueller and Chris Wray. They've all had the
He's a
misfortune
no.
of crossing paths.
Let it be no today. If he vote no today,
Mr. Patel
He's
claims
gonna
he
vote no.
respects law enforcement, but his words and actions
Not even a
demonstrate his
question.
disdain for the FBI.
Anybody
He
living
said
on
day
time,
one he
y'all
plans to,
need
quote,
borrowed time.
shut down
Y'all
the
need to be
FBI
trying to do what's
headquarters.
right.
And he's falsely claimed that
He
the
can't do
FBI,
what's
quote,
right anymore.
was
His brain is
planning the
completely
January
fried.
6th event for a year beforehand.
The dude should
There is
Because
retire
y'all
no
done
truth
50 years
weaponized
ago.
the
Mr.
system
President,
all the way
and
to
he
the
is
bank.
casting
You
aspersions on the
weaponized the
FBI
system all
that
the
are
way to the
undeserved.
bank.
Mr. Patel's record demonstrates that he's
I
dangerous,
told you, everybody that was
inexperienced,
in that
and
video
dishonest.
climbing the
He should not
the
and cannot
Capitol
serve
steps in
as an
Ukraine,
effective FBI director.
every single
Mr.
person,
Patel has been
every
crystal clear.
politician you see in that
He
video
plans
is
on
a
using the
swamp.
FBI's vast surveillance and
Every
investigative
single
authority to,
one.
quote, come after, close quote, the president's enemies. It is
Oh,
shocking
yeah, BlackRock
that my
got it.
Republican
BlackRock and
colleagues are willing
Vanguard
to
too.
support him, despite the serious threat he
That
poses to our
he
national
said,
security.
Ed was
And I'm
saying that
sorry to
100
say, I
million that they,
believe they will quickly
Zelensky talking
come to
about that
regret
they
this
don't know
fate.
where it's at.
Mr.
Vanguard
Kennedy has been
and
a
BlackRock got it.
10-year
100
as
billion. I said
director
100
of the
billion.
leading criminal investigative agency in the world. I cannot imagine a worse choice. You want the person who has that job and that power to destroy people simply by
Got 40
investigating.
people in the chat,
They
man. Make sure
should
y'all
show
like,
some
share, and
temperament and
subscribe.
some judgment. Cash
And
Patel
share,
shows just
please
the
share,
opposite.
share.
He is
If
neither
you have
qualified
Facebook,
nor
if you got
prepared to
Twitter, if you got
accept responsibility.
Instagram,
I will be joining them
all of
with
these
my
and
Republican colleagues.
Rumble,
Please think
please
twice
share. Share on all of your
this
social media sites.
situation, making it even worse. I yield the floor.
Whew.
You should have been there yield the flow. You ain't talking about nothing.
President,
Senator from California is recognized.
President, I too rise today to oppose
Oh,
the
no,
nomination of Kash
California.
Patel to serve as director of the Federal Bureau of
Oh, these
Investigation.
people still thinking they got it
Now,
going on.
let me begin by saying to Americans
The,
watching at
the
home
communist
who may not
territory
be
of
completely up to
California
speed
will
as
now
to
give his
what's
thoughts.
going on, the importance of this specific nomination, or wondering who is Kash Patel.
I know who he is.
And who are
Might
you?
have been distracted these last few weeks by a rush of headlines coming out of the White House.
Cash
Maybe
Patel is who we
preoccupied with cost
requested.
of groceries.
He's
We
your
the
new
people
daddy.
requested Cash
By the
Patel.
You may have, if you caught any news, been hearing about how President Trump, the
Just because
richest
y'all don't like him
president in history,
and he
has
got y'all head
given
already
Elon
on the
Musk, the
chopping
richest
block,
man in the
don't get
world,
scared.
You know, I don't
unprecedented
even know why they
access
do these. They should just
to
go to the vote.
billions
It's
of
not like they're going to
American
change anybody's
sensitive
mind at this
private
point.
information. Yes, Elon Musk has access to your personal
Man,
private
leave.
information from
Y'all need to
Social
get
Security
Elon out of
numbers,
y'all
home
system.
address,
It's
Elon
gonna
Musk
happen.
your tax.
created and owned PayPal. You
There's been a lot
dipshit.
going on.
You gave him
All
your
the while,
information
President Trump
voluntarily
Thank
is
you.
a
also
long
laying the
time
Thank you.
groundwork to pass another massive tax cut for billionaires. So if you've been busy
For
and struggling to
billionaires,
keep
that's their
up,
problem. They
I
want to be the
understand.
billionaires. They don't want nobody else to be.
Let me
Yeah,
try to
but they
break
want to
it
be
down.
silent billionaires. with
Yes.
Only
unmarked
Come in,
accounts.
2025
come in broke,
will
po broke
Donald
and
Trump
hungry, but leave
have
out
a headlock
billionaires.
on the Republican
Mhm.
Party.
So,
Could a
you know,
nominee
let's
this
say
extreme and this
Nancy Pelosi has
unqualified
$100 million that we
be
know about. How
confirmed
much does she
to
have
lead
that we
the
don't know
FBI?
about?
No party of Reagan would ever support the
Oh, dude,
this big
stop
a
it.
threat to
Stop
American
it. You
freedom
don't even know
and
Reagan.
international
Dude,
security.
Reagan carried a pistol in the White
No
House.
party
He
of
probably would have
Lincoln
shot this
would
guy
ever
right in the
support this
face.
big source of division among Americans. And yet here we are,
Hey,
pretending as if
YT
the man
24,
who promised to shut down the FBI
Joe,
headquarters on day one and turn it into a museum for the
Crystal.
deep state is now fit to lead the FBI. You see, time and again, Kash Patel has shown that his loyalty
Y'all welcome
lies
everybody.
not with the rule of
Everybody,
law,
thank y'all for welcoming
but
everybody
with
that
Donald
comes
Trump.
in.
Why? Because he knows that Donald Trump is his
Mike.
cash cow. Trump is Kash Patel's ticket to selling more books.
Dude,
It's
books.
calling
Trump
card
ain't
to
getting a
try to get the
salary.
next podcast interview,
He's not getting a
and
salary.
certainly key to landing his next job. Frankly, it's a pattern we've seen from all too many of the nominees
He
that
should sell
Donald Trump has
books.
picked for his second
Y'all
administration.
selling us?
These are people whose sole qualification is allegiance to Trump.
What are your
This
qualifications
should
for being where
disqualify
you are?
any nominee.
We want to know your
It's
qualifications.
particularly concerning for a nominee slated to lead the nation's premier law enforcement agency. When it comes to protecting the security of our nation,
That day is
there is no room
long
between
gone.
patriotism and patriotism.
California, we don't want to hear from y'all.
The American
Y'all
people
got
need
the
and
goddamn
deserve a public servant
cartels
who is
at
100% committed to the
the hands
around-the-clock
right now
safety
fighting
of the
against
American people.
ISIS. Are y'all serious? We don't want to hear from y'all.
Unfortunately, through his actions over the course of the last several years, his conduct this past month before the Senate Judiciary Committee,
I
Kash
know,
Patel
right?
has demonstrated a dangerous lack of
YT24. Yep,
lack
that
of
is half of the
preparation,
show right there.
and lack of independence. He's shown
Oh,
that
you
he's
come
either
to watch just
unwilling
for
or
me?
unable,
Oh.
putting politics aside.
Yes,
in
because you're
order
always
to
going off
protect
like a crazy
the
lady at
American
Walmart.
people.
Shut up, noobs.
The
Shut up.
Constitution. Should he be confirmed to lead the FBI? And throughout his
Thank you,
career,
Joe.
he's shown a clear pattern of loyalty to Trump and of self-dealings at the expense of the American people.
That's
That
right,
includes
Joe.
undermining
So
the
tell him to
FBI's
ask
work
about,
in
yeah,
order to
that part
protect
right
Trump
there, what you just
from
said.
investigation. Profiting
Having
off of
sex. Dude, you better
conspiracies
go sit down
about
somewhere,
a
take you
quote,
behind somewhere and sit down and get you
and
a chill
promoting an
pill.
enemies list targeting
We know who we
public
voted for,
servants.
and we
Selling
did not vote for
picture
you.
books to spread
Get out of
conspiracy
here.
theories
So while this guy
to
is up
kill
here just,
about the
basically
2016 election,
filler busting,
endangering
So,
the lives of American service
we
members.
think Cash is gonna
after
make it through
inserting
today or no?
himself into a
They
hostage
said at 1:30
rescue
today.
operation.
He's supposed to be sworn in at
Refusing
1:30.
to commit in his confirmation hearing
They said
to enforcing
unless
existing gun laws
senators, those
that protect
senators and
lives
Congress
and
people
save lives,
start fighting in there as they always
holding
do
millions of dollars
behind the
invested
scenes,
stock in a
literally
foreign
fighting.
company tied to forced and child labor.
And then they think that they can tell us right from wrong. Where they do that at?
Producing a song
Why do we
with
think?
financially
Why do y'all
supporting
think we're supposed to listen to y'all
families
and
of
y'all in there
insurrectionists
doing all
who
this fighting?
violently beat Capitol police officers on January 6th. And now it
Telling people to
includes,
meet me outdoors, and you
now it appears
Bush
that
bad
this
Bill
list
Bush,
includes
and
potentially having
you
lied
can't
under
see
oath
because
in
your
his
lashes
confirmation
is too
hearing
long and
about the
all
role
of
he
this
played
nonsense
in
going on.
firing career
Y'all think we
FBI
gonna listen to
employees
y'all?
based on their
Please.
perceived loyalties. After we heard him swear in committee that he played no role in the firings,
I don't know if
whistleblowers are
y'all
coming
saw it this morning or not,
forward
why this guy dude
to tell
running
us
off at the
otherwise.
mouth. But this
At the very
morning,
least,
y'all, sis,
the charge is
everything
so
you
serious
said, they
that it
said it this
warrants
morning
further
on Fox.
investigation.
They said that the
Colleagues,
cartels
stretching the
have
truth
literally set
and
up
potentially
shop
outright lying,
underground, and
they form
they got
points with President Trump.
the
But as director of the
FBI
FBI,
and
he is
Homeland
only
Security
America's
that's been
lives
helping
at
them.
risk.
And some of
Think
these
about it.
senators and Congress
To
people
all
been helping
Americans
these people
who might be
set up
watching from
shop
home,
underground.
you wouldn't put an arsonist in charge of a fire department, would you? But with Kash Patel atop the FBI,
They got several
that's
whistleblowers
exactly
that
what we
have called them
Career law
out, and
enforcement will
that,
continue
trust
to
me,
be
they
perfect.
said when they get
The FBI
them
will
and they find
recognize
out what they've done,
political danger.
they're gonna do some prison
Our
time,
communities will be less safe.
and they should.
I want to make one final point to our Republican colleagues.
Your point should have been final when you started.
Throughout this body's history, the Senate has had not just the opportunity, but the responsibility to serve as a check on executive overreach.
Dude, get to California and
Senators of
start
both
building
parties
right now.
over
We don't want to
history
hear that.
have exercised our constitutional duty to advise and consent.
There's a storm going on right now in
President's
California, and y'all
nomination.
need to be putting them
In the
people back in their
past,
homes that y'all
the
burnt
Senate has
down,
rejected extreme
allegedly.
nominations.
Hey, I talked to, because I know a couple of people that live out in that area.
when a nominee so
and,
obviously unfit.
At
comes
least
before
one
us.
of the folks that I talked to,
That's a
she
dangerous
says that things
precedent.
are moving along a
Think
lot
about the
faster than
damage
she
will not
thought
just be
they
doing
would.
to the institution.
So
That's
of
because they
the
did this.
FBI or
That's
yeah,
because
but I
they
mean,
did
that's
this.
a good thing though. That's a
that
good
feeling
thing though,
Americans
because
deserve
you
to
know,
have
remember when
in
the
our
night of
law
the
enforcement.
LA fires and stuff, you know, and we were all talking, man,
More
it was
important
going to
than
be
that,
like, you know, 10
today,
years before they even got permits. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
I'm
that
just
someday in
glad
the
that
future,
things are
Well, Trump
moving
told them.
along.
Oh, and by the way,
when
that
a
was said
role
this
as an
morning too.
FBI director
Trump submitted
abuses a
another
position
executive order
to fail to
as
protect
of
the American
today.
people. It won't just be
All federal
Kash
funding
Patel that will be held
to these
accountable. It won't just be President Trump
states that's
who will try to
supporting,
hold
that's still
accountable.
trying to
It will be
support these
every
illegal
member of this
aliens.
body
Hmm.
who
Funding have
supported
been cut
his
as of
nomination
today.
that will
Well, that's
also
good
be held
because they don't need to be
accountable.
using our money for that shit. And
So I
then
invite
see
you,
what was the other
I
thing?
encourage you to have the
It'll come back to
courage
me.
to say no to Trump because lives
Oh,
are on the
yeah.
line.
So
Have the
I
courage to
heard
stand up
last night, late
and
last
protect your
night,
constituents.
you know
Protect
that
the American
congestion
people.
fee that they're doing in Manhattan
And do the right thing.
for cars
Vote
and stuff
no
like that?
on
You
this
know, it's like
nominee.
$15 every time you
Mr.
drive into
President, I
the
yield.
southern portion of Manhattan or whatever. Done by Kathy Hochul.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's
Mr.
turning that off.
Mr.
So he
President,
rescinded the permission of the
Senator
federal
from Minnesota
government
is
for them to
recognized.
put a toll on
Mr.
federal
President,
roads.
I rise to strongly oppose the
Oh
confirmation of
Lord, here
Kash
she come,
Patel
lady.
to
Mhm.
serve as the next director of the
Yeah, we don't
FBI.
have to hear from these Democrats.
The
We really
FBI
don't. We already know
Yeah,
what they're
we
going to
don't have to
say.
hear from
nation's
them,
most
y'all. We
important
can mute
law
these people
enforcement
because
agency.
they're not even worth listening to.
It is made up of more than
These people are just
38,000
liars.
Yeah, and you know, they're just going to read off the same sheet of music. You know, they're probably calling up each other last night, giggling. Oh, I'm going to say this. What are you going to say?
And I'm gonna add this to it.
Public servants
You
who work every
you ain't a public servant, lady. Public servant mean you standing in solidarity for the people.
You a grifter and a con man and a thief.
And we want all of our money back, every bit of it. We pay too much taxes for y'all that sit up here and act like we blind, cripple, and crazy. We want all of our money back.
And I just think even now, you know, they still lie straight to your face like you're buying it. You know what I mean?
Y'all, they're out
the
in
hell?
front of the White House as we speak. The what's that woman? Maxine Waters and Eyelash, all of them out there, and Mr. Kane, that's running through the airport with no cane. He comes in the Capitol with a cane, but he running through the airport with no cane. Make that make sense? Why are y'all out there protesting in front of the White House? We,
Because
the
they're
people, have
actors.
voted.
They're actors. Nothing more. What happened to our sound? Oh, we muted her because she just.
Oh, he muted her because she ain't saying nothing. She's saying the same rhetoric over and over. Just vote. Stop playing. Just vote.
And so the vote is going to be at like 1 something today.
It's at 1:30.
Let's see, 12. That's still an hour.
So that means we got to
45
listen
minutes.
to these people for an hour.
That's crazy. I think we need to take a break and come back. Unless there's
Listen to all of these Democratic parties, because it's been stated, all of the Democratic parties, they don't have not one that's going to vote for Kash Patel. And we got one Republican that's in Ohio that's voting against Kash Patel. And the filibuster, I think, is McConnell.
Well, McConnell he's a no vote. And so him and this guy from Ohio, if they're both no votes, then how many does that leave us? I haven't done the math. Has anybody looked?
It's for, I think it's we got the vote. We got it. We we got the vote.
Oh, so these people are up here just spending gas trying to, see
There's
if
more
they can.
Republicans.
Yeah.
Yes, more Republicans. And so
Well, I know we had
really
more. I
got the
didn't know
vote.
how many more.
And we just could not lose 3. We couldn't lose 3. We can lose 2, but we can't
2.
lose 3.
All right. So yeah, these things when they just stand up there and they just gaslight, and both sides do it, I don't see the point in it. Actually, I think it's.
But I'm like Trump. Trump said they don't think I'm paying attention to all of this here, especially the Republicans. I'm watching every move you make because this is the deciding factor of whether I can trust. I already can't trust you, but this is really putting you on my hit list where I can't really trust you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're requesting for even the voters. Listen, y'all, when y'all are voting, start looking at your local officials. And that's going to decide, because your local officials is going to determine whether or not things are really going to move forward in your state or not, and how it's going to work out in your favor. If none of what they're talking about or what they've actually done is working in your favor, that means I don't care who it is. You can be a Democrat, but that doesn't mean you got to vote all Democrat. But because I know
if
in
anybody
Texas,
in here is from Dalton County or Thornton Township, she's talking to you. What are you people doing out there?
that don't make no sense that you're voting the same way and keep getting the same results, looking for different results, but getting the same results. That makes no sense.
Yeah, because your state, the state is actually the governors, like they're literally like the president of that state. So that's who we really got to start targeting, like, because a lot of this stuff, these laws and things that's getting passed and the corruption is coming from, it starts from the head up, from the head down.
And so
and believe it or not, that's how, and believe it or not, these governors are in communication, constant communication with these low-life prosecutors. You wondering why we keep looking at the same thing. And I just told sis the other night, when I worked at the prison, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I'm that Black woman, but I saw too many of us coming in and out of that prison system. And that's how these people are making their monies. That's how they're building. And the private prisons, we're paying for these private prisons. We want all of these private prisons done away with, because there's no reason for us as taxpaying citizens paying for private prisons. For if it's a private prison, and you the private citizen, you need to be paying for it, not us. We're paying for the inmates to be housed in these private prisons. And remember, private prisons doesn't just mean all American citizens. They got private prisons right now with nothing but illegal immigrants that we're paying for to be housed in.
Mr. Patel's supposed enemies are not only government officials he disagrees with. He has threatened the press as well. No one agrees with every story the press writes. I certainly don't. And I'm sure many of my colleagues read stories about them that they don't like. But we believe in this country in the First
And then you had the Haitians fighting because they're fighting for their what is that, sis? That they was that they have
the United States has ever seen, end quote. He said that not even on a podcast.
What is their rights that they have, that if they can't go to prison? What they call it?
Media is the most powerful enemy.
Yes, the asylum seekers. They literally have more rights than us as American citizens.
Tens of thousands of agents across the country. Not China.
That's what we better be paying attention
not Russia, to. Not Iran.
Abolishing, not changing, but abolishing these laws.
And Mr. Patel has already publicly threatened journalists, saying, we're going to come after the people in the media.
You should, y'all should be. Y'all have weaponized the system.
Yeah, we're
y'all solacing us.
End quote. This isn't someone
Go
Because
who
this
has
get
live
business
would be
'em.
shut
running the
down right
world's
now if they
premier
was in
law
charge.
enforcement
They would shut
agency.
us down right now.
This isn't someone who we can trust to be faithful to our Constitution. This isn't fidelity to
We
the
can't
rule of
trust
law
you.
and impartial law
Yeah, I wonder
enforcement.
what
It is a
skeletons this
direct
chick has got in the
threat to
closet.
it. Bravery, fidelity, bravery, integrity.
Baby,
So
I
let's
can't
talk
wait
about
till
bravery.
all they
We
little
all know
secrets
that the
come
Capitol
falling out
Police
their
showed
closet.
bravery far and above the call of duty on January 6, 2021. We know that.
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna have to
We know
shut this
that many
down
of
and get
them,
back to
their
work.
gear was stuck
Maybe
up
Okay,
Noobs
us.
can go
okay.
Their
live when they
riot
get
gear,
to the
they weren't
nitty
even
gritty or
able to
something.
access it. And so many
Noob,
of
can
them
you
were
go
Everybody
live
protecting
come
later?
us,
through,
people
man.
who worked in the
Yeah, I
Capitol.
can. What time?
When the
About
people that were
1:30.
storming into this Capitol had better
Yes,
gear than the
Now come in
police
a little
had.
bit
And of
before that,
course,
maybe.
we made
before
tons of
that, yeah.
changes since then.
All right.
Changes
Yeah, I'll
to
be
the
around. You hit me
Okay,
up.
tell
Capitol Police, which
everybody,
means we
Jeff, tell everybody
changes
where to
to this.
go at by 1:30.
Okay.
Is that 1:30 Eastern or what?
Well, he said he gonna come in early, a little early. What time, Noobs?
Like 1:15, we should be in for the vote because you know they're going to be a little bit late, more than likely.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
about
but is that
1:15
Eastern or Central Time?
Eastern.
Eastern. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
so
everybody
you can put
meet
it
us
in the
over
chat so
there.
everybody can go over there. Provoke thoughts.
And
Provoke
make
thoughts?
sure you
Okay.
share.
Thoughts.
Bring a friend. Bring 1 or 2 friends with you.
All right.
And,
Thank
and
y'all
we'll,
for joining us today.
I'll go ahead and
conservative Mike. Everybody.
Yeah, I'll go over to
All right,
Provoke
y'all.
Thoughts and build it out and put it up.
okay. And Jeff, maybe you can you don't have to be live, but you could actually you can talk to Noobs behind the scene where it can be still playing on your side too.
Okay, yeah, I'll see if I'll be able to do that, but I'll try to at least be
You
in the
don't have
chat
to
or
be
something.
on. No, you don't have to be on. Just making sure that it's it's been.
Yeah, we can work out the details in text. So
Okay,
but
all right.
I plan on
Okay.
doing it around 1:15.
All righty.
Okay.
Talk to
All right.
everybody
Thank
later.
y'all.
See y'all.
Okay.
Bye bye.
See y'all.
Peace and blessings, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thank y'all. Have a good day.